This is Fox Sports Radio, AM 1280 Rochester.
Hey, folks, welcome to another weekend edition of What's Going On, The Experience here on Fox Sports 1280 in iHeartMedia. And you know how we do. I got the guys in the Cume, and I got my man Ryan V down in NYC out of the Hamptons. What up, Rye Guy?
Hey, it's good to be here, man. Just hanging on by a thread, suffering from a little bit of PTSD, but I'm ready for another great week of football. Week 6, here we go.
But I'm sure you get over it. And I got my man, this hang out with me, bro. You know, I've been on the sidelines for a while. And then I got the only cat that's in the game. He just won a chip, and now he's all cheesy, easy, looking all breezy. My man, Greg Vaughn from Las Vegas. Are you an ace, Greg Vaughn? Are you an ace?
Oh yeah, I'm an aces for sure. I mean, I love going to the games. You know, they're ran like a championship organization from top to bottom, right? And like I said, we have the best female player in the planet, but she has a lot of, and she'd be the first one to tell you, a lot of co-stars, right? So,
yeah,
shout out to the Las Vegas Aces, 3 chips in 4 years, best player in the planet, Asia Wilson. I mean, the GOAT, right?
Right.
And there were a lot of GOATs before her, but I think when it's all said and done, she's going to be the GOAT. So, and like I said, with the thing about Asia, she would tell you and give thanks to all the GOATs before her.
Of course.
That's the type of
she knows the shoulders.
Yeah. She's humble, and it's awesome to see, right? Especially in the time and days of social media and self-promotion. She's total opposite of that.
So Greg, I was saying off mic, Ryan, I guess her and Bam Adebayo are going to have some super babies. So whatever happens, just like, I'm going to be honest with you, you know what has super babies? What's my man that's always from LSU? Swagoo and his wife has super babies. His daughters, man, they all play like volleyball, basketball. Swagoo kids getting ready to be Marcus, the guy from ESPN. This kid's getting ready to be at the next level, Greg.
Oh yeah, well his son's the number one hooper, number one recruit in hoops. So yeah. Hey, it's all about their pedigree,
that
right?
genes and the pedigree. So speaking of genes and pedigree,
might lead to the Shaqtin' a Fool, like the Shaqtin' a Fool MVP, JaVale McGee, another super baby.
No, but
you never know.
But speaking of super babies and super teams, the Stankies fell off like a bad habit. Now they are wherever they at. They hanging with Pete Alonso, and they crying the blues with Juan Noto in their Henny Coladas on the beach, because that's what I will be doing, Ryan. So what say you, Stanky fan? And you still got the hat on, trying to will a game 4. It ain't happening, Captain.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I could build a time machine, I would, but we all saw the glaring flaws in the Yankees defense. But one thing I will say is that I don't want to hear anybody ever talk smack about our captain again. Finishing with over a 500 batting average, clutch home run off that foul pole. So yeah, look, I'm at this point looking at the silver
and the ball
lining.
going through his legs.
There was an error. Yep, it happens in the postseason with him. You got to
look at Greg's face.
Look, the bat was on, and you know what? This could be our chance. And I'm going to get under Greg's skin a lot because he's friends with the guy. I think they even played on the same team. But I'm sorry, Aaron Boone's got to go. It's just time to hit. And once again, I'm not saying. Last time I was a little bit crazy. I said fire the bat boys, fire everybody that's doing the analytics. I'm not saying fire everybody. I'm not saying fire Cashman. I kind of like what he did with this last team. It wasn't that he didn't build a good team. I feel like there just needs to be accountability. We need to have somebody in there crazy. We need like a Jorge Posada or somebody in there that's got that fire, that's going to yell at these guys and get them fired up. Greg, as a former player in Major League Baseball, would you rather have a player-friendly coach like Boone or somebody that's going to light the fire under your ass and hold you accountable if you mess up?
Well, I think the thing about Boone is, because he was a former player, that separates him is he's ultra competitive. You know what I mean? He's ultra competitive. He's not going to play it out through the papers. And I think that's what you guys want to see. He's not, because, as a player, you want to keep stuff in-house. You want to keep things in the confines of the locker room. You don't want to start calling your players out in the paper. You don't want to start, because that's the first, rule number one, you lose trust in your players, you lose the clubhouse, and then everything's in disarray, right? So I think with Booney, I think it's wrong for people to think that he's not holding people accountable. I think it's wrong that people think that he's just, a player-friendly manager. You can say that about Bruce Bochy. Boch didn't go to the papers and call out his players, playing for Boch. He told you up front and personal the
Listen,
truth.
the ultimate player manager for me was the dust maker, Dusty Baker. Dusty,
Oh yeah, for
look, the
sure.
ultimate. And I'm being honest with you. The ultimate. Even when Dusty was losing, Greggy, they wasn't giving him the business, and they allowed him because he was a player. They allowed him to manage those winning squads. So you're right. When you're a player manager, you understand the nuances. I would think of the game. So you ain't gonna give him the business like me or Ryan would, because we ain't never catch a damn baseball in our lives. So
Now,
we'll
now,
be
now hang on a
on a
sec.
mission.
I get it. I understand what you're saying, but there are certain times where, like for instance, when Boone keeps trusting his guys that keep failing over and over again, that to me shows a lack of holding them accountable. I think they benched Volpe for 3 or 4 games this year, maybe tops, and then blamed it on some type of injury. When they keep sticking Devin Williams out there, when Luke Weaver hasn't had a good pitch and I don't know weeks and weeks, and they keep putting him out, I feel like they're maybe behind closed doors, he does hold these guys a little bit more accountable. But when they play bad, there's no repercussion for it. And that's what I think gets to me. It's like the same mistakes just keep repeating themselves over and over again.
Well, you know what? I think him, as a player, that's when your manager does have your back and he keeps putting you out there, he's believing in you. I think that weighs way more positivity than someone that has a bad outing and you don't see the field for
2
another
weeks.
15 days.
Okay, right.
You know what? Like you're the third baseman for the Mets, right? He played.
Yep.
He got off to a slow start.
Marford,
Then he was playing.
they put him in the jail. They put him in the jail cell. He ain't seen no
You,
run
you
for
know,
like a month.
yeah. And then now every time you go out there, you're trying to make up for all those circumstances that happened before. Hey, the past is the past. What's already happened, you can't get it back. But as a player and human nature is part of that is going out there trying to, have hit 5 home runs in 3 at bats. You know what I mean? And trying to make up for everything that has happened up until this point. I think, Boney kept. I mean, these are his guys. These guys that you're talking about got him to this point in the playoffs. So now we just bench him. Who do you have left?
I don't know, Rosario. There were guys off that bench that should have been in there for Volpe. Like so if you're coaching Anthony Volpe and he's got 14 of 17 at bats ending in strikeouts, and after just a miserable regular season, I know he had some heroics in Boston. When do you start making these changes? Like, what does it take for?
Well, and I think this is the discussion in the offseason. I think this is the same cat that you guys leaned on last year.
Thank you.
I mean,
I was going to say, wasn't you on Volpe's tip, Ryan? You was like, you was a Volpe cheerleader.
He had a great World
you was
Series.
Worse than me.
I mean, look, I'm sorry, but he hasn't got. Look, I know it's like Greg wants to probably strangle me because I'm not a former player. I'm not an athlete, so it's hard for me to understand. But when somebody doesn't develop in the way that you'd expect, when you see so much potential, and there were just flashes of brilliance. I mean, won the Gold Glove his first year, but he seems to just keep taking a step back. Is it the fact that he was actually playing with an injury?
How about this?
When do you make a change?
How about this, Ryan?
No, you know what?
Hold on, Greg.
Ahead,
how about this, Ryan? He might need a change of scenery. And Greg know about changes of scenery because he's been a part of a few of them. Some guys might need that New York City lights playing for the Stinkies, the pressure, it's crazy. The Knicks, the Mets, anything in New York, and I think Greg understands what I'm saying when I say this. So other than him having a bad time, he can't even relax. Go to Minnesota. He probably relax. He hit 35 home runs and make no errors because there's no expectations.
I would say yes and no, but I think you're right. There's nowhere where the pressure is like playing in New York, right? In all the sports, probably. There's that, and I can say that, right? But at the same time, I think the pressure comes from the inside too. I don't think there's an athlete on the planet that the media puts more pressure on than he puts on himself, right? So I think Volpe. I mean,
Yep.
you had the series in at the Met Stadium where his dad's arguing with the fan. I mean, it was just a lot of
It was a
outside
mess.
noise. There was just,
It was a
yeah, yeah.
mess.
It was just a lot of outside noise. And hey, you got to remember, he's still fairly young. So this is the first time he's really had any adversity. So now, when you haven't had adversity, how do you deal with it? Maybe he didn't have the right people around him. Maybe he was listening to the outside noise. Maybe he learns from this and becomes one of the best shortstops that ever played. So I just think it's called a career, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. If we got rid of everyone that went through a bad patch,
Yep.
you know,
You
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 wouldn't have a
probably
Hall of
wouldn't
Fame,
even be in
right?
the
Because
major
even
leagues. Am I right, Greg? If they went to
no,
think about it.
no. There's a lot of us that wouldn't be in the major leagues. Wouldn't have played for 15 plus years, or because it's baseball. Think about baseball. It's the hardest game on the planet. One, two, it's built on failure. It's the only job in the whole world where if you fail 70% of the time, you're considered great on your batting average, right? And what other job can you fail 70% of the time and be considered great?
The president.
Good point.
And some people think
Very
he's
good point.
great. He's feeling like a champ. We're gonna take a quick break. I have to just say that.
Yeah.
I have to just throw that in there. Okay. Because he's failing 77% of the time. And some people think he's doing a great job. And I'm like, but he's batting 300. I'm like, but it doesn't work like that. This is politics and not baseball. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have Ryan and Greg break down that marathon of a game. And also, your Brews is still in the thick of things. Am I right, Greg?
Big game tonight. Big game tonight. Big
So,
game tonight.
so that's what I'm trying to tell you. So Greg is the last man standing. The Stinkies and the Metsies and the Messies, they're on City Island drinking Henny Coladas. That's all they can afford right now. They ain't even going. They're going to City Island, Ryan. They ain't even going to a real island right now.
I know someone can afford more than Henny Colada.
I know, but I'm just
Your
saying.
favorite player on the Mets.
Yeah, but the way those guys have played this whole season, both of those franchises need to take a close look and see where they want to be next season. When we come back, like I said, we're going to break down some more baseball, and we're going to talk about Ryan's favorite new player, Jackson Dart. We'll be right back. Fox Sports 1280. What's going on? iHeartMedia. Don't go no place. Hey, folks, welcome back to part 2 of What's Going On in the Experience here on Fox Sports 1280 and iHeartMedia. And we're on a whole bunch of different outlets as well, streaming and different services. And this portion is brought to you by GV23, the greatest vino on the planet, produced by my man, Greg Vaughn. Hit him in the head with what's going on with GV23, Greg.
Hey, what's up? Thanks, Nate. Hey, GV23. You can go to gv23.com. You can go to Greg Vaughn 23 on any platform. Yeah, you can order it straight delivered to your house. Working on, like I said, we're still working on distributorship, trying to get it out there, to the, by the masses. And a lot of the proceeds, part of the proceeds go to diabetes. So the JDRF. Shout out to JDRF trying to make a difference in a cure, for that terrible disease. So when you support GV23, you also support JDRF trying to make a difference in the world.
And that's Juvenile Diabetes Foundation for those who don't understand the acronym. And yes, Greg, that's a powerful thing to do. As a matter of fact, I want to give a shout out also to the Monroe County Coalition for Families. They had an event the other night called Stop the Bleeding and Heal for the mental health of the community, and called Stop the Bleed. And it was attended by over 150 people. And folks were just, trying to find a way to just continue with their lives in a positive manner, and all this negative stuff is coming up. So shout out to the Coalition, Monroe County Show Coalition, and Dina Johnson, a tremendous young lady making things happen. So speaking of making things happen, gentlemen, that marathon game the other night, 15 innings, Greg, I went to
Yeah,
sleep.
last night.
Ryan was gonna give me the business. No, you didn't watch the whole game, Ryan. I'll be 70 years old in a month. I'm happy I could get through a game into seventh inning, bruh. Okay, let alone another 7 innings, another 8 innings. That wasn't happening. Greg, break down that game for me, and then I'm gonna go to you, Ryan.
Well, hey, once again, you had a pitcher's duel. You know, the scary thing about, living in Vegas and, when you talk about betting on games, your boy Scooble and the appearances he's made against Seattle, I think they were 0-8 in his last 8
Mm,
appearances against Seattle. Not that he lost the game, but they didn't win the game. And I could be wrong. Ryan can fact check me if he wants to, but I think, you know, any game that he started against Seattle, that's his nemesis. That's the one team that gives him problems for some reason. Even though he did come out, you know, after 78 pitches, 98 pitches, 90, it was a bullpen game. But this is the thing about it, Ryan, what I was stating earlier. When you see these guys over and over again, and you got to put the same guys in and night out, the deception, the execution of their pitches, it's not as apparent as being able to face them once or twice. You know what I mean? These
mm,
guys are, and with the way baseball's set up now, they want their pitchers out of the game after 5 innings. You know what I mean? It's in 6 innings and 4 innings if they can. And I never understood that. If someone's not making an adjustment, and I understand the numbers say, well, if you see him more than such and such times, the averages go up. That's not all the time.
right.
Today, if a guy's on, I'd rather ride my horse, who's probably going to set the bar when it comes to contract time, than put it on the hands of a reliever. Somebody that you got to remember, these guys are seeing these guys 3 and 4 times, because they're coming in every single night. The deception and it's gone. They don't have a Mariano Rivera down there that it doesn't matter what he throws, it's going to be tough to hit,
Yeah.
right? And some of them are so young because we rush them to the big leagues. They haven't been through this type of pressure. You know what I mean? This is playing in these types of games is a different beast. I mean, you just seen, a routine comebacker that he bobbled 100 times in spring training. You bobble, pick it up, throw to first. He bobbled, picked it up, and threw it to the back gate. You know what I mean? So it's it's something that pressure busts a pipe. That
But
old
I think,
acronym.
but to add to what you said, I'm going to go to you, Ryan. I think a lot of these teams, so out of the playoffs, relied on young pitching and rushed them too much. I know the Mets did, so I can say that categorically. They rushed those 3 or 4 guys up, thinking they was like Seaver, Kuzi, and the Mets of the past. I'm like, dude, those guys aren't there. They thought they was, they thought they had the big four, with my man Nolan Ryan. I'm like, nah, fellas. And then what you said also, once they kind of found out how these guys pitched, they figured them out real early, and they young and they couldn't make the adjustment. So hence they're
Well,
out of the game. Okay, so the
well,
same thing.
you can't pitch from behind either, Nate. You know what I mean?
Neither one of them, whoever, they can never pitch from behind. They were
You can't
stuck
pitch from
like,
behind.
dang, I can't get out of this. So what I'm saying to you, Ryan, is as you watch that game, the marathon game, what did you take out of it? And can Seattle, and I'm gonna go right back to you too, Greg, can Seattle, because for some reason, I don't know why I like Toronto, maybe because I live 4 hours from Canada, but I just like the Blue Jays, and I just like how they play baseball. They don't hit a lot of home runs. They just freaking flat out play baseball. Single, doubles, a triple every now and then, a home run every now and then, steal a base on you all the time. I just like how they play baseball. To me, old school baseball, Ryan, but that's just me.
Yeah, they got some guys that can hit some home runs. Vladdy was just in early. The Yankees lose. Man, that got under my skin the other night. But wow, like, do we have a new enemy in New York that can hit home runs? By the way, Vladdy was a beast. But watching that marathon game, what did I think? I can't wait to watch Tommy Canley come in the game and do exactly what he did to us, bury us, and that's exactly what happened in the 15th inning. I believe it was right with Polanco. But Screwball is just like you said, Greg. I mean, I don't know. He's probably my most favorite pitcher to watch in this day and age. I don't know if it's his windup. 7 strikeouts in a row, though.
Yes.
That was an MLB record in the postseason. What do you have? 13 strikeouts in 6 innings? I got to look up and see. But
But
yeah, like
I love to watch
dominant.
him pitch too. That's why I thought that Tigers Seattle thing was, to me, one of the best matchups because, like I
But
said,
they're drained now. That's draining. I mean, to go that far, Toronto gets to rest. I'm not sure how. I think that's going to have a very negative impact on Seattle. The fact that it went that long. Toronto's had time to reset. They still got the momentum. Yeah, I hate to say it, but Toronto is looking pretty scary. If I had to pick a winner of the ALCS before it even gets started, I'd have to say the Blue Jays are looking pretty good.
what do you think, Greggy?
Well, I think the Blue Jays are riding the wave, right? You know, they just come off a huge, you know, you know, basically domination of the New
Oh,
York Yankees, right?
they just beat the Stinkies down, man.
You know, you win it, you win it in New York. I think they had the momentum, but there's one thing about this game of baseball, man. Sometimes days off aren't good because you do lose that rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? I just think Toronto's pitching is set up a little bit better than Seattle's because Seattle, I mean, Castilla had to come in yesterday. He got the win. You know, they're using starters in relievers
Mm-hmm.
spots. So I think, you know, if I had to say pitching and the momentum and the way the one thing about both these teams to me is they play the right way. They can
Yeah.
get down a bunt.
Mm-hmm.
They go first to third, and their superstars are showing up now. You know what I mean? The superstars are showing up on, you know, on both teams. It's going to come down to pitching. It's going to come down to the bullpen. Like I said, I just think Seattle is at a disadvantage because they had to go so deep into games, whereas Toronto didn't have to go through that type of situation. And you know, who's to say? You know, Toronto did this without Bichette. If they get him back,
Yes,
but
sir.
but once again, who knows after missing that type of time, you know, is he going to be able to fit in, or is it going to be a setback? Right?
So,
We don't know.
so
You
Greg,
know, they're
Probably DH him and
le-
roll the dice. I would think.
yeah. So, Greg,
For
check it
sure.
out now. Your Brewers, what they gonna do?
they got to control the first inning. You know, the games that they've lost, they got off to you know a 3-0 deficit. They got lucky at home in game 2, where you know, I guess my son from another mother, Vaughn, came in and hit a 3-run home run to tie it up. You know what
You
I mean?
funny.
You know, you know, he came in to tie it up, and you know, but they scored all their runs on home runs. You know, the once again the Cubs is that national, you know, PGA laying down bunts, they're moving runners. They
Small
go
ball.
first to third, they go first to second. But the Brewers play that type of baseball too. But they got to find a way to manufacture runs without hitting home runs, right? So I think, you know, once again, they're leaning on the kid that started in the All-Star game. And I don't know how that happens after, you know, 3 starts, you start an All-Star game. But he started an All-Star game throwing 104, 105 miles an hour. He's going to get the rock tonight. But, you know, once again, is the stage going to be too big? Is he going to, you know, be wild within the zone, so to speak? You know what I mean? Because as far as stuff, no one has better stuff than him.
So,
You know,
so let me ask you this quick question. Are we gonna have to see the Dodgers again? Because they get on my nerves. I don't think. I think if there's a team that I don't like worse than the Stinkies, it will be the Dodgers, right? I'm just sorry. It would be the Dodgers. I they just get on my damn. They buy everything. They buy
they,
everything.
they,
They just buy up
see,
just buy the whole major league and just put them out there. Ryan, go ahead, tell me.
hey, you New York franchise has been doing that for freaking hundreds of
I'm
years.
not a
No,
Sticky
yeah,
fan, so I don't. That don't count. And we ain't buying
you guys,
Gooden and them guys. They were just rookies. No, no, I'm talking about present day. Ryan, what's going on?
you know, I grew up a San Francisco Giants fan. I hated the Dodgers,
Yeah,
but
man,
I admire the way they play. I have to say that.
I'm more of a Giants
They do
fan.
play hard.
I'm a
I
Giants
admire the
fan
way
more
they
than a
play.
Dodgers fan because I like Willie
No,
Mays.
I'm a diehard Giants fan, and I grew up hating, you know, hating the Dodgers. But I'm saying I admire the way they play. They don't strike out. They put the ball in play. They pass the baton. You know, they make adjustments. They took your boy uh what's his name? Roy, the closer now. He was a starter. He's making $350 million. They said, hey, he had his struggles during the year, up and down a little bit. He went to the bullpen. He established the back end. They get healthy at the right time. Freddie does what he does. And like I said, they play baseball the way it's supposed to be played. And once again, a testament to their manager. They have guys that on the staff, they have guys leading them that have done it before. They know what it takes. And, once again, they're letting him control the team. And I hate to say it, playing for the Padres and being a Giants fan, I admire the way the Dodgers play. Do they buy up everyone? Do they get the best players? But, they've been doing this a long time in baseball. You know what I mean? That was the case. The Yankees have been doing it. Ryan was crying on the show for the last 6 months about, the Dodgers buying up everyone. The Yankees do the same thing.
We do.
The Mets,
and we're going to continue to do it. Let's be clear.
The Mets be trying, but they don't admit.
I agree with Greg. As much as I can't stand the Dodgers, I agree 100% with Greg. It's okay. I want more teams to spend more money. I want teams to why not? Like, we want to see more competitive baseball, and the Dodgers just play better baseball, like Greg says, and that's what's frustrating for me as a Yankees fan that watches these guys just piss money out the window. I'm sure the same with you, Nate, watching your Mets.
Well, no.
There's basic errors.
This what bothers me. It's not watching. This is what bothers me. Okay, it's not so much of that, right? When I look at the Dodgers, they have this incredible knack of getting international players. No other baseball team, have I really seen do that. Starting with Fernando Valenzuela, the Dodgers will get people that you will never think. Their scouting has got to be phenomenal, Greg, and you know what I'm saying. Okay, so for them to get and find Shohei and then find other Asian players along the line, I don't see any other MLB squad. I mean, they go hard for the Dominicans or all of this stuff, but the Dodgers, they'll go outside the box. It's the point I'm making to you, Greg.
But they do. You got to remember, Shohei was in California first. You know what I mean? So but once again, if I'm a international player, I want to go to what society looks like in my home country. So do we have every influence of
Asians in LA?
Korean, you know what? You think about the Hispanic factor. New York. Everyone that's from the Caribbean, they want to go to New York. That's the ultimate goal to play is New York, right? On the East Coast somewhere. And, if you're Hispanic, the West Coast, because it's a heavy influence of, Hispanic players from Mexico here. So I just think that's the way it sets up. And unfortunately, when it comes to these posting wars, the Dodgers are in the market, and I'm sure they missed on players before and they had their downtimes, but they haven't missed in a long time. And they took Snell. They went out. How many starts did he make last year? And he's pitching like the Blake Snell of old. I mean, but once again, Ryan, that's why these guys have a track record. That's why you can't just, they have a bad month or two. Just
can't kick them to the curb. Can't kick them to the curb.
Get rid of them. You're right. I'm not saying a guy like Snell, but when there's a guy that's not as proven, Blake Snell is one of the greatest pitchers ever. He's going to have, like you said, transitional changes. I get all that. You want to, there's highs and lows. Totally understand. My whole thing is when someone's consistently not improving, consistently dropping the ball, changing the beard policy after 50 years, coming out there and pooping the bed. I'm sorry, but that's what gets under my skin a little bit more. But I fully understand. And what the Dodgers have done, not just internationally, like you said, they sign everybody because people want to be there. There's a culture of good baseball and fun established there.
And people want to play for Dave Roberts. So once again,
yes. He's a great manager.
A lot of these franchises, once again, are going with, just politically correct guys that won't buck the system, right? If you look on, and I'm not saying guys that haven't played at that level, can't manage, but you look at the teams that win over and over again. Do they have the best players? Yeah, but for the most part, they have guys that have done it before. They know how tough it is, right? They know how tough it is to play this game for 6 months straight, day in and day out, how hard it is. They know how to relate and communicate, and they know when to put an arm around somebody, and they know when to kick them in the ass sometimes too. You know what I mean? They know what to say and what it takes to be a big leaguer. And I think we have to get back to, finding a way, and it's sort of like society right now. Either it's left or right. There's no common ground. You have to find a way to have the old school with the new school and making it work, right? Because I think you need guys teaching guys that have played this game. It's hard to read a manual or a book and say this is how we're going to teach everybody to do it.
Oh no, because
Everybody don't have
everybody
the
has
same skill set.
different learning styles, particularly in sports.
And plus the skill set, a different skill set.
We're gonna take a quick
You're gonna
break,
tell Boca to go there
fellas.
and be Aaron Judge. You can't.
We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, so Greg, before we go, what's your World Series prediction? Because I'm going Dodgers Toronto.
If you want me, my heart says Brewers, but it's my heart. My heart says Brewers, Toronto, probably.
Be
But
practical, Greggy. Be practical.
I would say Dodgers. I would say Dodgers, Toronto, and then I would say Dodgers.
Okay,
But Toronto has
I
it.
can dig that.
But Vlad got the momentum going. Vlad's playing like his daddy. He's playing like his daddy.
What do you say, Ryan?
Yeah. I hate to say it, but he really is. It's legendary what's going on. As although we're on the receiving end of it here in New York, yes, I have the exact same prediction as Greg. I'm not trying to be a copycat. I think all three of us can agree it's going to be a Toronto LA World Series with LA taking it. It's going to be hard to stop the defending champions in the World Series this year. But hey,
and Ohtani's not even going with the bat right now.
Yeah, but
yeah,
then
he's
again,
not
though,
even doing, yeah.
but then again,
Had his
though,
worst
Greg,
series.
I'm gonna hedge for a second because Seattle can do something. That's all I gotta say. I mean, you never know because I've been with you the last year talking baseball, so I always hedge my bet a little because you never know if Seattle gets on that little swing and the pendulum goes the other way.
Hey, you know what? And the thing about it is, you never know if the Cubs ride this momentum and come back and, from a 0-2 deficit and win, they could ride it off. The Brewers had the best record in baseball for a reason. We can't count them out. Their backs are against the wall, but so are the Cubs. That's why they play the games, baby. We got to touch on the Phillies when we come back because that whole roster is going to be different next year.
And a few of them might be Mets. Yo, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk Phillies, but we're also going to talk, I got to talk Jackson. I got to talk Giants. Just for you, Ryan, I have to do it. And your boy, Scatterboo. Scatterboo-boo. They said, we don't need Saquon. They said, we don't need no Saquon. We got Scatterboo-boo. We'll be right back.
Right.
We'll be right back. Fox Sports 1280, Art Media. Scatterboo-boo. Hey, folks, welcome back to segment 3 of What's Going On in the Experience. And if you happen to be down in the Hamptons, you need somewhere to go, we got to put together a nice white party or fashion show. I think the place to go is, Ryan, where's it called? It's called Zoe's, Ryan?
It is. The place to go, if you're in New York, is Zoe Private Club. Simply go to zoehamptons.com to learn all about this hyper hospitality experience featuring the best wine on earth. Eventually, it's going to be arriving at the door, that GV23, and all types of other good things to enjoy at Zoe Private Club. 755 Montauk Highway. Look for the monkeys in the road. 2 big giant gorillas created by the famous artist Idris in New York City. They used to be on Park Ave. So zoehamptons.com. Check us out online. Sign up. But this is the new thing, guys, is you can't just pay your way into Zoe anymore. You now have to be invited into Zoe, to this private member club. So pretty cool stuff going on behind the scenes. We'll talk more about it. If you listen to the Ryan Show, you know all about it.
Okay, so with that in mind, are you inviting Greg and I to be a part of Zoe's?
Of course. Why, of course. You guys will be a part of the illustrious founding member group, and you'll be invited to the concierge service. I'm actually going to put you guys with Shakir. Shouts to Shakir, our head concierge. You'll be receiving a text later today.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. But speaking of a text later today, Greg, you really think they're going to blow up the Philadelphia Phillies? Because they imploded like a champ.
Well, I don't know if they're going to blow them up, but they got Schrober's a free agent. Realmuto's a free agent. You don't know what's going to happen with Wheeler. I think Sanchez is a free agent. They got some tough decisions to make in Philly. You know what I mean? This group, they haven't won, right? They haven't won the big game, I should say. You can't, what Schwarber's going to command and get, how do you have that with 3 other guys making $350 million, and then you got Wheeler's contract? To me, the glue is the catcher. The catcher, you lose him, I mean, we're not talking about just the staff he leaves, but we're talking about how he comes up with big hits too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I think the Phillies are going to look different. You know, what's your take, Rye?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, where do you think Schwarber is going to go? Because that right there, you
I think
mentioned
he could
JT
be.
Realmuto.
I think both of them could be in New York. You, you know what I mean? Because there's a time that the Yankees have to win, right? Schwarber, but I mean, with Stanton, you already have Stanton as your DH, but somehow I think what hurt them a little bit this year was and during the playoffs is even the outfield play. They knew if they hit a ball to right field, they can go first to third, they can score. There wasn't going to be any throws. You got to find a way to put Stanton has to find a way to play first base, to do something. So when Judge is out, he can DH. You know what I mean? I think that hurt them a little bit. I think you got to find a way to use that DH spot for the big guy when he's hurt. But Schwarber, he's played first base. I don't know at what level, but I think that solves the Yankees' problems at first base. And if you keep Stanton as DH, but I think he's gonna have to find a way to get a glove in his hand to be able to, learn to play first base late in his career, like a lot of other guys have played. And I think that frees up the Yankees lineup a little bit.
What you
Yeah,
think,
I
Ryan?
agree. I agree. I think that would be amazing. I'm sitting here just getting excited thinking about Schwarber in pinstripes. But you're right. Remember what a liability he was out in the outfield.
He just strikes out too much to me. I know it's like risk reward. I'm gonna keep it a buck. When I watch him, right? Because I watch him all the time at the Mets. He'll get if he get a hold of one, yeah, he rides the rhythm. But damn it, that guy he'll strike out 3 times in a row, and I'm saying it to you too, Greg. And you be like, damn, dude, this don't home run swings, put it in play. He don't do
Okay,
that.
so let's okay, but there's a difference. He walks like nobody else.
That's true.
You talk about the boy. I mean, he led all of baseball in RBIs, and he bats second or leadoff, one of the two. I just think he's a different type of cat. But now I can live with him striking out because his damage is going to outdo his strikeouts. I can't live with a middle infielder striking out like Schrober that's going to hit freaking 15 home runs and drive in 50 RBIs, and we say he had a great year. That's not a great year to me. I mean, he's going to drive in 15 runs in 3 games. So, I mean, there's nobody out there on the market that's going to command what he commands this year.
And you think the
and you talk about the workman's mentality and what he brings to a team too. It's different. He's going to play hard. He's going to, he's going to be an ultimate professional. And how many guys,
So okay, so if you had a crystal ball, Greg, who you think would get him? The Mets or the Stinkies? The Messies or the Stinkies?
Well, I think the Mets, come without way more money than the Yankees would, just because they're trying to establish something. But your stars have to play. Not like I said, they don't have to be stars so much, but be a professional. When you're not going good, still give me the same effort and do the same things. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and play up. Like I said, no one expects you to get a hit every time. But goddamn, if I ain't hitting, I got to play defense. And if I ain't playing,
I don't see that so much. But that's what I was saying to you, Ryan. That's why I always used to give Juan Soto the business, because even when he's not hitting, he just never looked like he was trying outside of him getting a home run or a hit. It's like, dude, run out the bases, man. Just don't look like you don't want to be in that environment when you're not doing well. You said it easy, Greg. You said when you're doing good, everybody, you're doing well, but there are times you're going to have a little slump. How do you keep that going? And that is the difference between Soto and Lindor. Because even when Lindor be in a funk, you never know he's in a funk like that because he ain't running around funky. He's trying to work himself out of it.
He's trying to work himself out, but he's also building everybody else up, and he's also playing defense.
Yes.
He says, I can't be horseshit on both sides of the ball, so I have to help my team. Yeah. And like I said, man, effort is something that you can't control as a player, right? That's the only thing we can control is our effort. I mean, you can hit 4 balls on the screws and they make 4 plays. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be able to give effort. I mean, it becomes bigger than you. It's about the team. But I've never had a contract of making $60 million a year, and what falls under that, the umbrella, so to speak, right? So, and two, Soto's had a lot of success as being as young as he is. He's never really went through what he went through, this past year in the beginning
Past
in New York.
season.
But still, but still, you have to be able to freaking give max effort. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, shit, hold out. I mean, this is the thing about it is, and I learned this from Robin Yount, Paul Mauter, Dave Parker, Willie Randolph, Glenn Braggs, Mike Felder. If I beat out a ground ball on a double play, you got Alonso up after me. That could be a 2-run jack. You know what I mean? I in the inning, but if I just gave in and caved to it,
And
now I
draw
got Pete
and just
Alonso losing.
jog down first base.
And then you lose somebody with character like Pete Alonso. Like he said, he's opting out his contract this year. You know what I mean? He's he wants to me, not being in that clubhouse, not saying he has anything against the guys, but he wants to go to a championship atmosphere where guys are expected to win and guys are held accountable. I think you're going to see a shakeup. I don't think they're going to be throwing out $350 million contracts like they were before. I think it's going to be a little bit different this offseason.
It is.
I think it's going to cost a lot of people money. Not even because he did a bad job, because of honestly a lot of it to do with us, the media. Because if you look at the second half of Soto's season, one of the greatest, probably the greatest season he's ever had, right? In terms of the second half of the season, how he balanced everything out. He looked amazing in the second half. And people were just hating on it.
But this is the point I'm saying to you. I'm going back to what Greg said. Your effort. And when I watch him, he doesn't give me max effort all the time. To make that kind of money, he does not give you max effort all the time. He plays in spurts.
And we're not trying to question, we're not questioning what type of guy he is, right? We're talking about, I need him to, lead and to go out there and beat out a ground ball because he's a hell of an athlete.
Max effort.
You extend the inning. You know what I mean? Extending the inning, you can see what happened in Toronto when innings are extended. The left fielder, they put the third baseman in the pitch hit. The left fielder watched the third baseman drift back and float all over the place and miss a ball. He extended the inning. What happened? The Yankees built on it. Next thing you know, you lose the game. When you can extend innings, you never know what the objective is. The objective is not to get a hit. The objective is to score.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to walk, move up, score. If all of us, Wally Joyner used to say it best, man, everybody get on base twice and take our chances with that. If we he didn't say everyone get 2 hits. Everyone get on base twice. And we're not even talking about defense because that's expected. You got to play defense. You know what I mean? But everyone get on base twice. We'll take our chances on winning the game. He didn't say get hits. Get on base and then score.
There you go. Hey, we're going to quick break, and we promise you to get to the Giants, you Giants fans, and we're going to get to even old behind Aaron Rodgers because I'm trying to figure that guy out. And, did you hear? Derrick Henry might be on his way out. We talking some football. Yeah, I just got that information on beep, beep, beep. Derrick Henry, they might try to trade him because I don't think Baltimore going anyplace. We're going to talk some more sports. We'll be right back. Fox Sports 1280, iHeartMedia. We got the guys, Ryan V, Greg Vaughn. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back for our final segment of what's going on in the experience here on Fox Sports 1280 and iHeartMedia and all across the planet. All I got to say is this. Any given Thursday, Sunday, Monday. And that's what the Giants did to the Eagles. And I know the Eagles are probably coming off a little Super Bowl, lapse, whatever the case may be. But the Giants put up 34 points. The Giants ain't put up 34 points since Ryan was 1 year old. And I'm going, damn. So Ryan, you made a prediction about Jackson Dart early in the season. You said, yo, man, just put Russell Wilson over here on the shelf and give Jackson Dart the start. Yo, man.
Not necessarily. What I said was give him the start later on in the season, but
Okay.
it looks like young Jackson Dart is making me eat my words because he was looking pretty good. We're going to obviously see some hiccups. He's a rookie quarterback, but at this point, I say keep Daboll. It looks like Daboll's kind of working his magic. I'm not saying that it was because of Brian Daboll that Josh Allen's who he is or that Daniel Jones is who he is. Obviously, he's not with the Giants anymore playing like this, but I think that we're seeing some of this day ball magic when it comes to Jackson Dart. And I love his attitude. He's just got the leadership, that swag about him that we haven't seen from a Giants quarterback, even from Daniel Jones. He didn't seem to be as confident. I'm really digging Jackson Dart. And look, I don't want to predict the Peyton Hillis type situation, but I love me a nice white running back here. I want to see my man Cam Scattergrew make his way to the cover of Madden and not get cursed. I'm really excited about that Giants offense. It's usually the defense we get excited for, but yeah, we got two white boys out there running and gunning, and I love it.
Okay, so Greg, this guy is in his Donald Trump bag right now. So I have to admit, because Scatterboo goes back to me with Arizona State when I saw him play last year. Okay.
Sacramento State first.
Okay, but I'm saying, yeah, but I saw him on the stage of Arizona. I didn't see him in Sacramento. And when I saw the cat play whatever bowl game it was, he threw for a touchdown. He ran for 2 touchdowns. He was playing linebacker. It was like a throwback, like a total throwback. And I said, whoever gets this Scatterboo guy is going to get a football player, not a running back, not a receiver, just a damn football player. Put me in, coach. And when I watched him this whole season, I like his put me in, coach attitude. He doesn't care if he catches the ball, if he blocks it for you. I'm a Scatterboo fan. I'm not even a Giant guy like that. But yeah, Jackson Dart is good. But there's something about Scatterboo that keeps that offensive engine running, Greg. I don't know if you've seen any of the Giants games, but what do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a Scatterboo fan too. I mean, he's from my hometown, so you know what I mean. I'm a big Scatterboo fan. I got the opportunity to see him play at Sac State before he went into the portal and went to Arizona State, and I'm happy for the kid. I have to agree, Nate. He is a football player. You know what I mean? He's old school, but you know what? I think these two young guys, but they're leading too. They're bringing energy to these veterans. Do you see Scatterboo on the sidelines?
Yes.
Do you see him on the sidelines? You know, pumping everyone else up and even if they have a mishap or a hiccup, he's grabbing the body. Hey, we got this. Let's go. He's building them up. And that's something that they didn't have. You know what I mean? It's once again, it's easy to say things at the right time, and I'll use future Hall of Famer Russell Wilson, giddy up and say all the right, but to be able to lead, that's what these two young cats are doing. You know what I mean? They're leading. So I think, the Giants are going in the right. They have the right coach. They're going in the right direction, and that's more than we can say. I want to root for your Jets. I want to say something.
Listen, I ain't talking about the Jets right now. The Jets off the radar. So we're going back to the Giants real quick. And I'm serious. When you do the stupid stuff, I can't call it for you. So back to the Giants, Ryan. Can the Giants make a playoff run?
Look, it's a tough division, and I know that they're 2-4 right now, but we saw what they just did to the Eagles, right? I mean, you could say that they're tired coming off a championship, but that was as good as it gets, and they dominated the Eagles. It looked like a completely different Giants team. And these rookies keep getting better every single week. The Giants drafted Scatterboo in what round? Other guys that they're drafting are stepping up.
Number
and
0.
great.
Where'd they get that guy from? Burns.
Yeah, I mean, Cordell Flott, I believe his name is. I mean, that interception that he had, I believe it was Jeff's first interception the whole year. I don't know, man.
But he's a rookie. They did a great job drafting. So once again, it's something you can build on. When your rookie class is making, playing an impact on your team, I think that's a testament to the whole organization, right? They're not just going out saying, "Hey, let's go spend money and get a superstar." They're saying, "Hey, let's get a foundation," and that's where it comes. It's just like building a house. You got to put rebar.
So Greg, before we get out of it, I got to ask you 2 questions. Are we seeing in real time and witnessing in real time the present demise of the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens? And I say that because they look, and I know Lamar's out. Trust me. And when Lamar was in, they didn't look that good. So is it time for Harbaugh to go? I don't know what time we got left, Ryan, but is it time for Harbaugh to go? Is it time for Andy Reid to go? Because both of those teams look like they're going backwards, and they had their best times ahead of them. I'm going to start with you, Greg, and then to you, Ryan.
I would say the Chiefs. No, I would say Baltimore this year is tough. I mean, in that division, but in that division might be hope too because look at the Bengals. The Steelers are playing well. Like I said, and everyone's saying, "Well, Nate, you're Aaron Rodgers." I think it's more because of the system. Don't lose the game for us. Just keep us in the game. Manage the game, right? Do what you're supposed to do, but you don't have to be a 400-yard passer, throw for 5 touchdowns. Just
Cam
manage the
Newton
game
says
and
that
keep
all
us
the
going.
time.
So for
Your
me,
boy Cam says it all the time, Greg. Cam Newton says, "What's wrong with a game manager?" He always says that. You be
yeah,
people. He says it all the time.
yeah, yeah. So with that being said, I think Baltimore's a little their defense. I mean, they're mangled by injuries. Their defense
They
is
got no
trash
defense.
right now. Yeah, the defense is trash right now. The
And
offense
and
without
their O
Lamar.
line, their O line is trash too.
Yeah. So I think Kansas City's ahead of Baltimore. I think Kansas City's going to be all right just because of their coach and not taking anything from Harbaugh, but because of the players that they have on their team. Kansas City's jumping in their own shit. The guys are they're saying this is unacceptable. So that being said, I'm excited about this week of football and my 49ers. We just got to keep winning. University of Miami, we got to keep going. And we just got to keep grinding.
All right, what you say,
Yeah,
Ryan?
I think that it's just this time that Kansas City gets help for Pat Mahomes. He's been able to bring these guys so far without generational talent. He had
Mhm.
Tyreek Hill, but he's never really got these great weapons around him. And maybe it's time while Mahomes is in, I guess you could say, his second act to just surround the guy with the right people. I don't think that the Chiefs are going to have a collapse ever, especially with Mahomes there. I think he is that good. As for the Ravens, their defense just looks miserable. I don't see the entire franchise having a free fall, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely in a lot worse shape this year, especially than the Chiefs. We might not see the Ravens bounce back, especially if their quarterback remains hurt. So, I mean, once again, 2 generational quarterbacks over there. So, as long as they have these guys, they'll be okay. But yeah, the Ravens defense looks a lot worse. And you mentioned Derrick Henry maybe leaving. There just seems to be a lot less things do seem to be
Yep,
falling apart in Baltimore. I
it
believe
does.
in the Chiefs still. I always believe in the Chiefs.
Okay. All right. Hey, we got to get out of here, folks. We had a great time today. Thanks to my man Greg Vaughn out in Las Vegas. He's celebrating the Aces victory. 3 chips in 4 years. Ryan V down in NYC. I hope to see you next month for my birthday too, Ryan. I'm coming into New York. I'm gonna go.
Oh yeah, let's
I'm
go.
coming to Zoe's for my. I'm probably come for my 70th. I don't know. And
All right, let's
Greg,
go,
I
man.
hope to be on the West Coast soon to see you too, my brother. I want to
Okay.
take some trips, man. So there's things we got to do in 2026, gentlemen.
Hey, what happens in
Yes,
Vegas
sir.
stays in Vegas. What happens in Zoe stays at Zoe. Join us. Let's go.
I ain't telling.
Hey,
Hey, folks, until
hey,
next week. Ryan, take us out of here, man.
Hey, you know where to find us. Fox Sports Radio, WGO.com. If you want to keep listening to this program, there's repeat episodes there. And of course, our YouTube, What's Going On, is available. Click the link. Enjoy. Thanks for listening, folks. We love you. Over and out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.